Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. Text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Jacob in Wisconsin. We got Emilio in Tennessee. Back to talk a little Green Bay Packers today as it's officially the 17th. I know we had rookies report, and we've also got, I think, the quarterbacks in the building too. At least I've been hearing the rumors of that. We got some news to chatter about as well, where we got some early pup list news we're going to hit on, and a couple other cool topics as well. So we've got the 49ers game queued up, ready to go. I don't think we're going to do it today. We'll probably do it tomorrow because we got a few topics we can hit on. But how we doing today, gentlemen?
Wonderful.
Great. Yeah, had a good day. Happy to be here. Excited that the rookies are there. I was telling the guys, just saw the clip of Packers just put out of the rookies what Olympic sport they would be best at. Some of the answers were great. I think Michael Pratt said he'd be good at archery. We had I know why Katana Oladapo can tackle is because he played rugby in high school, and he said that he would be on the rugby. You know, he'd play rugby for an Olympic sport. Love that. So I'm excited, man. They're in the house. They're ready to play. They're ready to be a Packer.
Heck yeah, man. It's going to be a fun year, man. You got all these young faces coming into the building, and the reality is you're probably going to have one or two that were let down by how they perform, and you're going to have one or two that you go, holy cow, we found a dog, right? And
well, hey,
who are they going to be?
The end of the clip, Travis Glover says 8 seconds. I believe he said 100-meter dash. I don't know. He said guaranteed. I like it.
Jacob, what would be your Olympic sport?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Curling, for sure.
12-ounce curling.
Wow.
Oh, dude, I get the whole broom out.
I could see Jacob sliding down there. Just come on.
I got my own broom and everything, you know.
If you whip that out of that closet right now, I would die.
Look at the old what is it, like a teapot or whatever that they throw down?
It's very strange, man.
Hey, man.
Very strange. I don't even know what all are Olympic sports today's, because I know there's a bunch of different ones that I'm going, what the heck are they doing? Does anybody even care about this? What is this?
Really,
no, yeah,
Smitty? Really, Smitty?
There you go. Smitty says Jacob's Olympic sport is hog hunting. That's what I'm talking about. Out at the club on a Saturday night, right? What was you going to say, Emilio?
No, I was going to say that I think Jacob could do that. Maybe the cross country one where you got a bike, ski, and all that, and then you grab after you're done skiing, you whip out, grab a hit a couple targets, get back to cross country skiing.
You know what, Smitty? The big girls need love too. All right, so.
Oh, no.
What does Charles Barkley always say? Those
that's what Charles Barkley says.
Them big San Antonio women. That's what he's
thick.
Charles Barkley, his give a damn has been broke for so many decades.
Oh my God.
He does not care. He had a clip on the McAfee show one time where he had said he's not on social media because he said, I can't keep my mouth shut. He said, if I'm out somewhere and I'm having a good time and I'm having a couple shots of tequila and somebody says something to me, there's 100% chance I'm saying something back. There is no, all right, I'm the bigger person here. Let me move along. Charles just does not care. I hate basketball. For those of you who don't know, disclaimer here. I cannot stand the game of basketball because I grew up in the late 80s, early 90s when basketball was like, man, it was a physical sport. You get used to watching those guys go at it in the late 80s, early 90s, and then you watch today's game, and I don't mean to be that old man yelling at the cloud, but it's just not the same game. It's not.
You don't like LaFlop James?
Exactly. That's the first thing that came to mind, too, as I'm describing that. In my head, I'm going, that's the first person that comes to mind. But I will say this. Anytime there was a basketball game on, and if I'm flipping through the channels and I seen Charles Barkley and Shaq, I'm listening. Mm-hmm. It's just I want them to cover football is what I want, bro. I'm just telling you.
That would be good.
Yeah. And I can't remember who is it. Ernie, what's his name? That's always in the middle of the little the skinny white dude. Yeah. It's just like the whole time he's watching them. Like, God, how'd I get stuck here? It's awesome.
Those big bone women from San Antonio. Then the guy, Chuck just goes, oh God.
All right, so let's hit some Packers news real quick. We're 5 minutes in, and we're already off the rails. There you go. Coach Lynn says, "Go Sacramento Kings." I love it. All right, so we got some news from the pup list and the IR here, if you will. Let me drop this banner down. This was on Pro Football Talk's website. They said the Packers placed rookie Ketan Oladapo on the non-football injury list ahead of training camp. The fifth-round defensive back broke his toe during scouting combine drills and underwent surgery before the draft. He continues to work his way back. So no news there, obviously. It says the Packers placed 4 other players on the active, physically unable to perform list. Offensive lineman Donovan Jennings, tight end Tucker Kraft, receiver Alex Magoo, and offensive lineman Zach Tom can come off the list as soon as they pass a physical. Kraft and Tom both tore pectoral muscle while lifting weights this offseason, and both are expected back soon. Keep in mind they did tear it within the facility, so it wasn't like anything shady, like, okay, were they actually working out, where the team isn't responsible for those injuries. They were in the building. That's important to know. It also goes on to say Jennings was selected in the 3rd round of the UFL draft Wednesday, going to the San Antonio Brahmas, so he will have a fallback option if he fails to stick with the Packers. That's something we don't talk about, guys. Like, if they've got an opportunity somewhere else, does that make the Packers a little more enticed to go, okay, maybe we should at least put them on the practice squad, right? Because if they want to call them up for their services later and they're in the middle of a UFL season, I guess it comes down to the money, and obviously the money in the UFL can't compete with the NFL. But if we start here at the top of the list, though, again, Ketan Oladapo, I don't think that's any news to anyone else. Do you guys agree? I mean, that's pretty much what we were expecting, right?
Yeah. It's not like what's your favorite saying there? You can't make the club in the tub. That's the only thing I've been very worried about with Ketan is that I have a lot of high hopes for this guy, like at multiple positions for multiple reasons. But the whole fact that he hasn't been on the field, he hasn't been able to kind of synchronize, get himself acclimated, to the guys, to the stadium, to the field, to all that kind of stuff. Like it really does hinder you a lot if you can't get out there with the guys. I remember once, Amelia, were you ever injured for any of your collegiate type stuff where it's like you feel like you're out of the loop? You know what I'm saying? It takes you a few weeks to get back in where you at least feel like you can compete with these guys just for whatever reason.
When I tore my ACL, exactly. It was winter ball before spring. So, like, I didn't get to play in the season at all. Yeah. You, go to practice, you just stand there, all the blood's rushing to your foot. It's like, all right, can't do, a bunch. But, it's brutal, like you said. But it's tough that his starting block is the tub. But I think that he's got enough of that, athlete and, drive in him that he's going to make it out of there. I just hope that it all, like you said, comes together on the field. But I'm excited about, Ketan, man. That's one we're hoping for sure.
Yeah. And before we hit that comment there, Gray Matter 06 says professionalism totally absent as usual. Don't change, guys. So we won't, I promise. Coach Lynn says red shirt year for Ketan looks like. I think with the way the Packers typically handle their rookies too, in the past, at least before 2022, they were really hesitant on getting their Packers into the starting lineup, right? They kind of held them back, let them kind of come along at a little bit slower pace, make sure they're ready. So with Ketan, it does kind of feel like that because, I mean, yes, we scrapped everybody but Anthony Johnson Jr. and Zane Anderson, essentially, going into the offseason. But now you add Xavier McKinney, you draft Javon Bullard in the 2nd round, you got Evan Williams added in there as well. You went and got Ketan Oladapo. There's somebody else I'm forgetting too. I'm trying to think of who it was.
Evan.
Yeah, I said Evan, Ketan, Bullard. Maybe that was it. Regardless, that room's kind of crowded now. So if there is one guy that kind of falls behind because of injury, you're not really too concerned about it. And I got to be real, man. Ketan Oladapo, or as we refer to him over and over and over, Ola Home Depot, that dude, he's probably outside of Javon Bullard. He's definitely the one that I was like, this is the guy, because I had him as the number 3 safety in the draft. I had Javon Bullard number 2 and Ketan Oladapo number 3. So it's kind of like your Luke Musgrave, Tucker Kraft top draft pick, right? So,
right.
Yeah. What do you guys? Do you think it'd be a red shirt year? Go ahead, Miguel.
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely possible. I think we do need to keep looking back at this when we go to check our roster numbers, because I feel like if they can get them over on the team through, cuts on NFI. I think they're an option they're going to look at, sort of thing. So I think we just kind of got to keep that together when we're looking at our numbers. But I was going to add to Bullard. He picked track and field for his Olympic sport, and I love that, because every time we've looked at a good athlete in the draft or anything like that, one of his he's a 2 or 3 sport athlete, one of them's got to be track, right? So that's awesome that was his pick.
Definitely. What do you think, Jacob? You think it's going to be a red shirt here for Catan?
Man, I hope it's not, to be honest, but it's just unless Catan is really that advanced, which playing safety, we've talked about it. It's a tough thing to just jump into the NFL and just be really good at. We've seen it lately, kind of with guys like Kyle Hamilton and Brian Branch and stuff that have kind of really seamlessly kind of entered in the NFL. I don't know if Catan is going to have that type of ability right away. So I think that will hinder them, especially like Emilio talked about too. We've got 2, 3, 4 guys that could possibly be in that role. Like Mr. Coach Lynn right there is, like you highlighted, he's still talking about Anthony Johnson Jr. Tim, if he's here right now, he's saying, yeah, man, Ant, you got to get Ant. And if anything else, I think the Ant might have a leap and a step, hop, jump, whatever you want to call it, over Oladapo, just because of the fact that he's been on the field. And it's tough, it's tough to actually surpass people that have actually had playing time, or people that are there for the OTAs, the preseason, all that kind of stuff. So I would hope to think that he won't be, won't be, I guess, delayed a little bit in his progress, but unfortunately, I think he probably will be.
Yeah, I can see that, man. Again, I think that important reps he's going to miss out on, unfortunately. It's not to say that he can't, burst onto the scene a little later in the season, but they're going to take it slow out of the gate. Now, as far as the other people on there, well, actually, let's hit on Coach Lynn's comment here. I'll read the one that Jacob was just talking about. For those of you on the pod, it says, do y'all think Johnson Jr. can play slot with his corner background? On the surface, first of all, I don't think the Packers would draft someone if they don't feel like they could do just about anything, right? Yeah. Now, if you're going based off of just history, if I remember correctly, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, I think Anthony Johnson Jr., the big selling point for him, and there was many people, draft nicks out there that were real big on him going to the Packers, because he had a lot of experience of playing top down in a quarters coverage. Well, now we're kind of stepping away from quarters a bit. It doesn't mean we're not going to play quarters. We're still going to play quarters. It's still a scheme that's used in every defense, some more so than others. But the fact that they were playing him top down, the slot is kind of the opposite. It's not that you can't play the slot top down, but in Jeff Hafley's defense, if we think we're going to lean a little more into what Robert Saleh does defensively, I see him playing closer to the line of scrimmage, right? If you're going to be playing man coverage, so that's kind of bottom up, right? Not like the club that Jacob used to go to, bottoms up, but bottom up instead of top down, right? So man coverage. And then also when they're playing some of those cover 3 looks, you talk about cover 3 buzz where the safety buzzes. Well, guess what the slot corner does in that situation? In most cases, it's going to be either a hook curl or it's going to be a curl flat, meaning he's going to be hovering around a hook or a curl type depth. So you're playing bottom up as opposed to top down. Now, again, I don't think the Packers draft him if they don't think that he can do a little bit of everything. And I think they probably did see a little cornerback background in him, and that made him a little more valuable than maybe some others, for sure. So we'll see, man. Again, I wasn't that impressed with Anthony Johnson Jr. personally, but he was a rookie. And the fact that he played so many games and was kind of thrust into the spotlight a bit, that says a lot. It's like Carrington Valentine. I wasn't as big on him and the way he played, but the fact that he played, it's the opposite, Jacob, what we say, you can't make the club in the tub. These dudes got out there and they just fought through a rookie campaign when they were late round picks, right? So I think that's important. It's definitely important to mention. Like this comment here, Jarrell Lee says, Adrian Cooper, top 5 defensive rookie of the year, calling it now 17 tackles for a loss is amazing. So I think he's saying that he had 17 tackles for a loss in college last year. Right. Everything on tape from Adrian Cooper, if all you had to go off of was the 2023 tape, you would say this dude's a dog.
Yep.
Now, if you looked at 2022, it's kind of, I don't want to say the opposite, but it's not near as impressive. Man, 2023 was just unbelievable.
Another level, definitely. Yeah, he was on another level in 23.
I do think though that I actually do have a lot of high hopes for Edgerrin Cooper because one, you watch the kid, it's so hard to not like this kid. He is so happy and positive. You see him, he literally talks with a smile on his face. And he just seems like he's willing to learn, he's willing to engage, he's willing to be wrong, he's willing to make mistakes and have them corrected. I really do think that if we get him, his natural ability and his natural aggressiveness and want and all that matched with Jeff Hafley's scheme, it could be just an absolute match made in heaven. Because like I said, dude, and again, like Jarrell just said too about my boy Javon, like Bullard is going to be an absolute heat-seeking meat missile. If this defense lets him just play with their hair on fire, head on, let's just go for it, dude.
How dare you?
I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, I'm really excited about Javon Bullard, man. He was my second best safety in the draft. I think he's going to be a stud. And the fact that he played slot in 2022 for the Georgia Bulldogs and he played it really well. I mean, that dude can do everything. He's a sticky tackler. He plays with great leverage, both defending the pass and playing the run. Just the little things, man, that gives you a slot edge over your opponent, knowing how to dip that shoulder, knowing how to play which half of the body to play on a blocker in a specific run is just absolutely huge, man. I think Bullard could be a stud here. And I think what I would like to see is hopefully they don't look at the contract they gave Keyshawn Nixon and just go, okay, he's the corner, right? He's the slot corner. Hopefully they do have an open competition and put the best person out there. Like Ben Holden was saying, loaded DBs. Nixon will probably not start at the nickel. I don't know how sure I am that he won't start at the nickel. I'm simply saying I hope they make it a legit position battle. You know what I mean, Emilio? I hope that they just remove the names, remove the numbers off the jersey and go, okay, now let's go watch the practice tape and say which one played better, because the reality is you're going to be in nickel a large majority of the time. Now, what we've said all year, all offseason, one of the things I've said, and I'll turn it over to you, Emilio, I've looked at it like when you're in base, then have Bullard playing strong safety, right? When you're in nickel, have him play the slot. But I felt confident saying that because we had Katano Ladapo to play strong safety, and he played it so well, right? Now that Katano Ladapo is a little shaky with the injury, now it's got me kind of thinking they may stick with Bullard at strong safety and go with Keyshawn Nixon and that experience in the slot. And it depends on how camp goes. But what do you think about it?
No, I think I like that take because I'm really happy with Bullard there. And I honestly think Catan might have a better shot kind of in the slot if he's going to be that physical tackler, played rugby, knows how to wrap up, wants to hit somebody. I think until then, like you said, putting Bullard down, kind of rotating him in there just so he knows that position. But I think that him and X might have a connection back there and just, have a lockdown, have a lockdown top. If you have to move pieces around underneath, you can bring in Evan Williams. You can put it in Keyshawn, depending on who you're covering, sort of thing. If you want to bring in blitzes, I think that he would rather. I think I'd rather have a shell that's solid on the back end. You're guaranteed he knows who he's talking to his DBs. Leave it at that. Stop messing with it, and then we can mess around underneath. And go from there, sort of thing. But I do like that take.
What do you guys think about this? This is kind of a hot take here. Eric Sutherland says Evan Williams plays a hybrid LB spot and wears the green dot. He's going to be out of nowhere star on this D. And no, I'm not drunk.
Eric, I think you are drunk, but not because of the comment. You're just drunk because you're Eric Sutherland, all right? But no, if that's the case, I'm going to leave that up for just a second because I'll forget. Yeah. If that is the case, and they hit on Evan Williams and he ends up being a stud, oh my God. Because we immediately on the live draft stream, we went and watched the tape, right? We went and watched the highlights, I should say, not the all 22, but we went and watched the highlights. And that dude was he was a meat missile. He was a meat missile. There's no two ways about it. The problem was you didn't see any highlights of him in coverage. And when I brought that up, if I remember correctly, it was Jake Shavink who said, yeah, well, that's probably a good thing, right? Like you're not – well, on a highlight reel, obviously you should see highlights. You should see him making plays on the ball. But the fact that you didn't see many, it doesn't necessarily mean he played bad. It just means maybe they didn't use him in that facet, right, or as much. Now, I think the PFF grade, if I remember correctly, for Evan Williams, I think it was decent. I'll look that up, but go ahead. You guys chatter about that for a second.
No, I mean, that could be a really, really exciting thing because we talked about it. How many times have we seen with Goody where he takes, 3 or 4 shots at a certain position group, you know what I mean? And it's worked out quite well for him as of late. The wide receiver group, the offensive lineman group, the tight end group, any single thing that he sorts to, and now lately the linebacker group. We forget about Tyron Hopper as well. I think that guy could actually make an actual impact, you know what I mean? So it seems like no matter what, when we seem to like focus on maybe 1, 2, 3 picks, I mean, Goody being the scout and the absolute wizard that he is in the scouting department, it makes me excited, man, because it does say that they obviously had some sort of high grade on all of these guys, and whether or not they actually perform and hit that level is going to be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So when we pull up Evan Williams' PFF from it says weekly grade Fresno State. So I'm not sure why Fresno is showing there, unless that's just inaccurate, because he did play for Oregon last year, right? So showing the weekly, I imagine this is probably Oregon actually. There's the USC game right there. So yeah. So his defensive grades, here's what the first thing that sticks out to me is there's not a whole lot of elite grades. There's only one at 85.0, and that was against USC where he just absolutely dominated Caleb Williams. Every time Caleb Williams tried to scramble, Evan Williams was just – I about said something bad. He was all over Caleb Williams, okay? But the other thing that sticks out is that's a pretty high floor. Right? You don't see the 40s and 50s. His PFF grades starting in week 1, and he did miss a little bit of time between week 3 and week 8. Here are his defensive grades: 67, 67, 85, 66, 62, 63, 65, 66, 63 for a PFF grade of 70.6, okay, on the year. Mm-hmm. When you look at that, some people look at that and go, well, that ain't that good. I'll tell you what it is. It's consistent.
Consistent.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So
I'll add to that consistent, Clay. In 2019, his overall grade was a 64.4. To 2020, he was a 58.7. 2021, 79.6. 2022, 77.1. And in 2023, 76.0. So after he got through his, freshman, sophomore year, whatever, dude balled out for 3 years.
Yeah, and it looks like that was actually the Fresno State grades there. Okay, let me drop this down real quick so you guys can see the rest of it. So when we look at his career as a whole here in college,
he's ascending, I think.
That's another great point. Like, well, in 2019 with Fresno State, 64.4.
Yeah,
dipped back in 2020, but only 283 snaps. So probably some injuries there, right? 58.7. Now let's look at this. Starting in 2021, well, somebody come look at this: 79.6. And in 2022, 77.1.
Look at the pass rush, though. We've seen it on that guy is – you tell him, hey, go hit that guy. He goes, okay. Right. And he just does it.
And that's exactly what Eric Sutherland was talking about, right? When he was talking about him being a hybrid, right? It says Evan Williams plays a hybrid linebacker spot, and where's the green dot? He's going to be the out-of-nowhere star on this D. And no, I'm not drunk. He's still drunk. But, so that's
and think about that. What if we implemented something like that in dime, right? We got one backer on the field, but we have two, you have Evan Williams on one side, Catan or whatever on the other. You have two linebacker safeties that are functional, right? I know we've tried it before to have the hybrid role. I think we tried, to make a linebacker a safety. I think we're trying to work in reverse now. So it's exciting.
And if he does come out, and I'm not saying he's going to be wearing the green dot, I'm too drunk to taste that chicken, Eric. But when, as Ricky Bobby once said,
right.
But when you do go to big nickel, imagine if you go to big nickel and Evan Williams is your big nickel. Now you've got a legit shot for him to become that blitzer that he was good at doing, right? Mm-hmm. So,
dude, look at his pass rush grades the last 3 years. Look at his tackling grades the last 3 years. Look at his run defense. That's exactly what we've been missing at the safety position. Exactly. No longer are the days where we watch freaking Savage just completely take a big whiff sandwich on eat the grass, and while the guy runs
wanting and willing to hit.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Savage, the thing about Savage is like you get some safeties that they play too aggressive, and you get other safeties that they play too conservative. Well, when you play too conservative, you never get burned, but when you never make the big plays. When you play too aggressive, you'll get burned, but you'll make big plays. The problem with Savage is the majority of the time he was right in between the two, and that's the worst place to be. It's the absolute worst place to be because that's the most – we're talking about consistency. That's the most inconsistent. You never know what you're going to get there. right? So the big thing, though, we were talking about coverage, and I was a little concerned about it. But look, 2021, a 73.4, 2022, 69.7, 2023, 72.2. That's not bad. It's not bad at all, considering they were using him as a hybrid blitzer, right? So, yeah, I'm excited about him, man, for sure. I think Evan Williams may step up big time here. But let's see here. Eric Sutherland says Williams has great instincts, a very high football IQ. I agree with that. At least that's what the tape showed. Coach Lynn said great blitzer and tackler. Amen, man. He really is. So
snaps. He was at D-line 12, box 290, slot corner 165, wide corner 7, free safety 271, special teams, kick coverage 62, kick return 5, punt coverage 31, and field goal extra point block 33.
That's a Green Bay Packer.
Multi-tool right there. That's a multi-tool.
That dude on kick coverage. Oh, my God, man. And I know it's going to be quite a bit different. But, yeah, that's the guy. That's the type of build you're looking for to play kick coverage for sure.
He's a Swiss Army knife, dude.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like with Savage, okay, he's got all the physical tools, but do you see him as someone to be a good special teams player? You never seen him like that, right?
Guy's like 5'9", wasn't he? He's not.
I don't know how short he was, but he sure didn't play like an NFL safety. He just didn't. He didn't play. Safeties have got to be a different kind of breed, man. They've got to come down and fill those run fits against the running game, and they got to be willing to hit, but they also got to be able to play under control. It's just. And he made some good plays last year. Don't get me wrong, right? But
Dallas game, obviously.
He never performed like a first rounder. Maybe that 1 year under Pettin, maybe, but yeah, that's only because you expected him to ascend like he started so well. So, yeah. All righty. Let's see what else we got here real quick. Let's go ahead and drop that down. And let's see, go back to my notes here, my show notes, my list here. Okay, so back to the pup. I wanted to hit this real. Evan the Meat Missile Williams. There you go. So we talked about Katano Ladapo pretty extensively. The other 4 players: offensive lineman Donovan Jennings, tight end Tucker Kraft, receiver Alex Magoo, and offensive lineman Zach Tom. I'm not concerned about Zach Tom. I'm really not concerned about Tucker Kraft either. Although I was excited for him to get a second full camp under his belt. Hearing Wildy and Tausch talk about it, I think they specifically asked Wildy. Actually, it was Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. It might have been Chewy. Mark Chamora asked Wildy, when do you expect Zach Tom and Tucker Kraft to be ready? Well, Tucker Kraft is 2 weeks behind Zach Tom. Okay, so Zach Tom tore his pec 2 weeks earlier. They made it sound as if Zach Tom was very confident he would be ready for camp. Now, like Wildy said, will they push him into camp that early? Because you know what you've got there. You know he's a phenomenal player. He doesn't really need the reps. And you just drafted Jordan Morgan in the first round. Let him get those reps, right? Let someone else get those reps and play it safe with Zach Tom. With Tucker Kraft, probably going to be a couple weeks into camp, I would imagine, before we get to a realistic timeline and go, okay, this dude might be ready. Now, if it was up to Tucker Kraft, he'd be out there with his arm in a sling. He'd say, that's fine. I got to hold my lung dart with one hand anyway. I'll hold it with that one, and I'll lay people out with the other. But I think they'll be fine. But I'm really, again, this is just finding the positive in kind of a crappy situation and both those guys tearing their pecs. You're going to get to see more of Ben Sims and Tyler Davis. And which one of those two guys are going to step up and be the number 3 tight end? And you're going to get to see who's going to step into Zach Tom's place, whether it's a Jordan Morgan at tackle or one of these other rookie tackles where they can kind of rise to the occasion. And who knows, maybe you end up seeing Elton Jenkins moved around a little bit. Maybe it just gives them a little bit different look. This is what I was thinking about earlier today. I was working and I was thinking I would be totally okay with this scenario. Imagine Zach Tom sits out pretty much all through camp and Jordan Morgan gets the majority of the reps at right tackle. And let's say Rasheed Walker plays at the level he did last year or maybe even takes a step forward. What if Jordan Morgan absolutely dominates that right tackle spot? And then all of a sudden, when Zach Tom comes back, you just kick him to center. Like, I would be over the moon with that. If Jordan Morgan can play tackle, if he can play tackle to the level that Zach Tom can. Now, That's saying a lot, and I'm not expecting that, but I think that'd be kind of cool. Smitty says, Tuck Norris out on the field catching balls one-handed with a lung dart in the mouth and a sling on the other. I love it, man. He's a dog. No two ways about it. So anything you guys want to add to the Zach Tom and Tucker Kraft situation? How do you guys see it? Are you looking at it similar to me, or do you see it totally different?
I mean, I know I won't speak for Emilio, but I I was really worried when I heard that news, to be honest. That both of them at the same time, if you remember, Matt LaFleur had also torn his pec benching. And I'm thinking, remember, it was also after we had switched our strength and conditioning coach, and we're all just sitting here like, what the F are they doing over there?
Just tone it back just a little bit.
It's like, are we repping the failure? Are we repping until our literal pecs burn out? Maybe we should, take a step back there. Maybe hop on the Bowflex. You guys remember the Bowflex?
The Bowflex.
Let's just see what we can do here.
Every time I did a bench press, I'm waiting for that rod to snap. I was scared of that. I'm like, that thing breaks. This is gonna suck.
Oh yeah. I was thinking, but I would hope to think that those guys are going to make a comeback and that they're going to be better than ever. Again, it's kind of the same thing as the Catan Oladapo situation. I do not like the fact that they're not out there being able to run with the guys, but they've been there. I've seen Tucker. I've seen Zach Tom. They're at least on the field. They're trying to engage with the players. I don't want them to feel like that they're not, in the thick of things. One other thing, like Afam said, training staff better keep a pack of Camels in a fanny pack on game day.
I think he's smoking Pall Malls this week.
No, he's what's the one that? Oh man, is it Pall Malls or what was the one that had the little section on top where you could use to dip it into booger sugar?
I think he's.
You don't know what those are?
I think he's got Prince Albert in a can. I think he's rolling his own out there. You know what I mean? No filter, just rolling them on the practice.
I can see, you see him, and he does it with one hand too. Roll it, put it in his ear. Yeah.
Oh man, that's a Photoshop waiting to happen. Smitty, get on that, Smitty. Go ahead, Jake.
Do you guys know? Is this true? Jarrell Lee says Luke Musgrave's second behind Bubba Frank's Packers rookie receptions. If that's true, that's cool.
He lit it up, man. And Jaden Reed too, with some of the rookie numbers. That dude, I think he ended up setting a rookie record for something. Was it receptions or something? Am I thinking right? There was some kind of record that Jaden.
Check it out. Smitty, what
Smitty's got a notebook of stuff we told him to do. You'll be all right. You're tough. You can handle it.
Parliament lights. Yo, that's what it was. It was Parliament.
Of course, A-Fan knew, right? Yeah. Oh man, I love it.
What do you think about this? As far as the starting five for the O-line, Eric says Walker, Jenkins, Tom, Monk, Morgan.
Throw my head at the screen. Set it up, bro. Let's go. You kidding me? I would be over the moon because what that means is they won the jobs, right? That right there. Think about this. Rasheed Walker under contract for multiple years. Elton Jenkins under contract for multiple years. Zach Tom about to get paid handsomely, right? And rightfully so. Jacob Monk, 4-year rookie deal. Jordan Morgan, 4-year rookie deal. You understand how we can manipulate the cap? That along with the wide receiver room. Oh my God.
Shoot, we could bring back Barry Sanders and sign him for $1,000 million.
$1,000 million.
Travis Glover's the new swing tackle. I'm ready to go.
Let's go.
Hey, let's do it. You're a big Travis Glover guy, ain't you, man?
Dude, after he said that, yeah. My man said he's fast. I believe him. I believe he can put it down.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, what else we got here in the chat? Anything we need to hit on real quick? Here we go. This is cool. Deadfish in the chat says Packers had over 200 rookie receptions last year, shattering the NFL record.
Wow.
If that doesn't –
Good luck breaking that one, everybody.
And again, who do you credit to that? Yes, they played well, but you got to give Matt LaFleur some freaking credit, man. My God. Just scheming people open like crazy. What are you laughing about? What'd you get now?
Just reading the chat, man.
I see it now. Smitty done went off. Smitty, come on now. Let's keep the booger sugar out of the show. All right. Coach Lynn in the chat said Walker, Morgan, Jenkins, Ryan, Tom. I can see that.
I can see that too.
Hey, Jenkins or Tom at center, as you guys may or may not have caught on yet, man, I think center is so important. And I think your best offensive lineman, if possible, should be your left tackle. Now, we kind of dipped our toe, not into the booger sugar, but into that about Elton Jenkins, right? Kind of playing left tackle and right tackle, and it didn't really pan out. I think he's an elite interior offensive lineman. Or maybe not elite, but very, very good offensive lineman interior. I just want to see a left tackle, right tackle, center. That should be where your best players are, right? And then let the edge, let the tackles and the center help. both of those two maybe less experienced spots at the guard position. Now, it all depends on scheme and how much trap do you want to run, how much pin and pull. You want to put your best players even on the offensive line to be the key role in each specific play, no matter what the run scheme is. But yeah, I would be totally cool with either Jenkins or Thomas. I think it would be awesome. Do I think it's going to happen this year? Probably not. They'll probably let Josh Myers play center. But unless Josh Myers is going to take a very team-friendly deal next year, I think they'll let him hit free agency, and then you're going to either see Tom or Jenkins or Monk move to center. And I think this offensive line is going to be significantly better. I really do.
What I liked about coaches was keeping Morgan on the left side there. I mean, we don't want to bringing him all the way over to the right, then he's got to work on a new kick and everything like that. I think I'd keep him on the left. I think I'd rather have him kept on the left, but yeah, Jenkins, Ryan, Tom, and then if Ryan's not handling it, we can rotate Monk in at that spot. And I kind of like having Jenkins there. He's got a little bit more of knowledge of the NFL, what kind of tricks they're doing down there in the in the gauntlet. So I wouldn't mind having him at center there, and then keeping Tom at his position and ready to roll once he comes from the pack.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a great point with the kick step for sure. And again, if something happens to Walker, Morgan isn't all wonky from playing the right side.
Right.
You just slide him into left tackle.
Hey, you got to kick out. You've known what he's done, and then he's still between two experienced guys, and we're still going to need a rotational. But I do like that kind of setup there. But again, Tom and all the guys sliding in on injured. Who else is going to fill the roster if they don't come back before the 53 cut?
Yeah. Randy Cleaver says we'll have to see the O-line battles. Man, the camp battles are going to be awesome, Randy. It's going to be so much fun. And we're going to bring that information to you every single day here on the show as we get updates. We're going to – and I know there's a group of the fan base that, does it really matter? It's boring. I got you. I completely understand. We're going to geek out on it. So you might want to watch something else if that's you, because we're going to be talking about if a fly lands on someone's left shoulder and they swat it away – and it doesn't, what, you okay, Jacob? Just hack up a lung? What was that, bro?
Dude, it doesn't mean much to you guys, but I just realized my brother just freaking punked me. I have been smelling. Do you guys know what Brute, the old school, dads, grandpas, he's been spraying that crap on my. He just randomly sprayed. We do that to each other every now and then. And I realized he came into my apartment and he sprayed my whole freaking hats with Brute.
My man.
It smelled like an 80-year-old pimp.
That is great.
I'm out there at the bingo table. Yeah.
Emilio, let me give you a story here. This is probably around 2003, 2004. Lord. I'm running a ChemDry franchise for a couple of good buddies of mine in Knoxville. I'm just a young whippersnapper. We had two vans that we ran. Our ChemDry was a carpet cleaning and restoration service.
Yep.
Got in the van one day, and bro, it was in the middle of the summer like it is right now in the 90s. You turn on the air conditioner, you get in that hot van, and it's like, what is that smell?
Mm-hmm.
We went 5 or 6 days, and it just smelled horrible. Until the owner finally got in there one day and was like, what is that smell? And like, we found out one of the other guys in the other van poured pickle juice in the vents. Bro, it was the nastiest. In the middle of the summer, bro, it just stuck to you. As soon as you turned the bed, it was like, what is that? Oh, it was horrible.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Did you get him back?
No. I left that job shortly after.
That's smart, yeah. Pulling that out.
So it must have been 04, because right around 05, I think one of their guys got fired. It was – we won't get into it.
That's rough. That's a rough one, man.
It's like the Chicago Bears quarterback position. It was just constantly – just replacing them over and over. You know what I mean? But good time.
Apple says cool water cologne is the reason I pay money in child support.
Bro, cool water was that was that. Raise your hand if you wore cool water. You're too young, Emilio. Jacob, did you?
Did. Oh,
cool water. Have you ever smelled it, Emilio?
No.
Bro.
It was good.
It was all.
Can I find it at your local convenience store?
You can find it in the gas station bathroom.
It's right next to the oil and the.
I was gonna say they basically give it away as you did. Do you want some? Just throw it in the bag. All right.
Cool water. What the hell? This show sucks. What are we doing? What are we? We got 39 minutes in before we said the show sucks. So I guess we're doing all right.
I think we said that at 5 minutes in.
Yeah, well, We should have if we didn't. The other big news here, I was going to ask you guys once again about your training camp battles you're interested in. Let's do that real quick. Let's go around the horn once here. Jacob, I'm going to start with Emilio. Jacob can't hold it together.
Sorry.
What's your problem, Jacob?
It's just Afam's trying to justify it. He goes, "No, man, Cool Waters was expensive back in the day."
Coming from the trailer park like me, he's not lying, bro. Any cologne back then was expensive.
Yeah, it's a high-end dollar item. I understand. I got it under control. My camp battle would be
you do not have it under control. Go ahead.
It'd be the linebacker position for sure.
All right.
I can't read Eric's. I would definitely think that for sure with the Quay Walker situation, the Edgerrin Cooper, even guys that are a little bit more trusted in truth. Thank you. The Isaiah McDuffie, that's one where I really think like, what is this guy? Where is he going to fit on this on the system? Eric Wilson and Isaiah McDuffie. I think those are the two where I'm really trying to figure out where they're going to fit in. I know obviously that Quay's going to be there, Coop's going to be there, Tyron Hopper's going to be there, and then you have to think about who is going to be that maybe fourth or fifth linebacker that we keep. Keyshawn Banks has shown spurts of stuff. Christian Young is also. Even Mosby, and Christian Welch, I know was a great special teams guy. And if you guys know me, in my opinion, Raylan Goforth has a beard that just puts him on the slot right away. He's number 5 linebacker, in my opinion, just on beards alone. But I don't know. I don't know what to think about this grouping, and it's going to be, I think, a little bit interesting to see as the actual season starts. I think the preseason is probably going to help shape this group more than anyone. But I think. I do think that it's going to be a really big battle. I would love to see McDuffie out there more with Edge and Quay. That's my opinion. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Amelia. I want to get your take on the linebacker position, man. How do you feel like it may or may not shape?
I mean, we brought Edgerrin in to make a statement, so I think he's going to have to. Quay is going to – I think he's going to hold it together. Honestly, I think he'll still have the dot. But I know we talked about X. So
you think he will have the dot?
Yeah, I still think that we're just going to keep it old school. Let it. I mean, it wasn't broken last year. It just needed a tune-up. You know what I mean? I don't think that it needed to be fixed. I think he just needed a little adjustment. But if he does, we better switch it to X. I am excited about Hopper, though, definitely. And Eric Wilson, I think that's a good rotation for our two backups there. And McDuffie, he's going to have to step up being the sure guy that he is. So it's we got battles all over.
Yeah. I think the question starts with the end in mind, right? Like, okay, how many are we going to break camp with? And when you look at it from that perspective, last year we broke camp with inside linebackers, which will be our stack backers this year. We broke camp with 5. Now, here's the thing. We were in a 34 defense. Now you're going to need 1 extra for your base. So I think there's a realistic chance they carry 6 or 7. I think the number should be 6, meaning if everyone falls into place the way we expect them to. So if the number is 6, we kind of talked about this a little bit before, Quay Walker, Edgerrin Cooper, Isaiah McDuffie, they're shoe-ins, right, along with Tyron Hopper and Eric Wilson. Mm-hmm. So if you carry 6, it's going to come down to Christian Young, Keyshawn Banks, Christian Welch, Aaron Mosby, or Raylan Goforth. Out of those other guys, Christian Young, Keyshawn Banks, Christian Welch, and Aaron Mosby, I think Christian Welch would be my pick. Now, again, it's early. That may change. They also may see it, Evan Williams, as, hey, there's an extra backer we don't have to carry as 6, right? We can put him in that hybrid role. And realistically, their nickel defense, they may look for a hybrid safety. They may go big nickel with that in mind. So, and when I say big nickel, really, who knows, they may go with a dime look. And when I say dime, you're going 6 DBs with that 6 DB being Evan Williams that's playing in that linebacker position. That could be the case, right? It could be the case with Oladapo when he's healthy too. But
it's just that's exactly what I was saying earlier, Clayton. Run a dime. We have one linebacker that you trust, and you got your 2 corners, your 2 inside corners that are safeties that can play.
Yeah, and there was a lot of teams that did that last year. They played a lot more dime. And again, we talked about the pistol yesterday. Another thing that's getting tossed around that's really taking over college football. And I think that the numbers were really, really bad against this defense when I looked them up earlier in the offseason. But 3 safety approaches, meaning 3 deep safeties. We're always showing that 2 high shell. Some teams are starting to show a 3 high shell.
Like a quarter look?
Yeah, well, not even a quarter look, like just a 3, almost a prevent look. 3 safeties over the top.
I was going to ask like a prevent, but how does that work?
And well, they rotate down post snap. So the reason the 2 high shell is so popular is because it prevents you. It forces offense out of play action shot plays. Shot play meaning a play action deep pass, because you're showing a 2 high shell. It's like, okay, we probably need to get out of this play and get into something that's a little more advantageous, as opposed to just trying to throw deep into double coverage. Well, people are rotating out of that 2 high shell. Now they're showing a 3 high shell. So it's even more reason to not take those shots. You're eliminating the shot play pre-snap, not completely, but you're forcing quarterbacks to read that thing out. Now, you think about what the Rams did in the last part of the season with the pistol set and Kyron Williams. I think it was Kyron Williams was their running back, if I remember correctly. Whoever their running back was just absolutely dominant.
Yes.
If you can run people out of those 3 high shells, just like you used to run them out of 2-man under in the early 2000s, or in the 2010s, I should say, because when you're in a 2 high shell, that's how you get them out of it. You run the ball down their freaking throat. Coach Lynn says, I kind of like the 3 high safety look and spin on into the box. Again, with a 3 high shell, it's the same. You're accomplishing even more so. You're forcing the offense to be a little more hesitant on taking those shot plays. And everything, whether you like it or not, everything in the league defensively is geared around controlling the explosive plays, right? And that's just another way teams are doing it. Now, the numbers last year, when I looked at, I can't remember them exactly, but they were not good compared to the 2 high shell. The 3 high shell, it's like, because I think the league was just running the ball down people's throats when they would show the 3 high shell. It doesn't mean they're going to give up on it, though. That makes sense. So, but linebacker position, though, I think that's a very, very intriguing spot there. So, Emilio, what would be your camp battle, man, that comes to mind? Offense, defense, special team.
My other 2 were safety and then O-line. So we have been diving deep into the safety room, but we got so much talent there. So I feel like we got to make a decision somewhere. Let's look at the O-line. No, definitely, because that's where I was leading to. Because, man, I think Jordan Morgan's going to get a spot. I don't know if it's going to be starting week 1, but I think he's going to play a significant role for this O-line moving forward, man. I think he's got the skill. I think that we can give him a shot out there. I think I think Prince was saying it earlier, Andre Dillard, I think he'll get a few reps early, definitely holding the line together through the injury, stuff like that. But I think that Morgan is definitely on the top 5 that they want out there.
Real quick, Emilio, what do you like? Imagine if, and I don't want to say it's like such a crazy thing to think about, because we've seen that Goody has went out and got some of these kind of obscure free agents, and all of a sudden they have a resurgence in their career. I wouldn't call it resurgence, because Andre Dillard never really had a career, but he was a top 30 pick, right? Wasn't he picked 28th or something like that overall?
He was 19th, actually.
19th? Okay, so what if he comes in? What if he surprises the freaking world, and this guy is a starting offensive lineman? What does that do for a rotation?
We have our Rasul Douglas for offensive tackle. I like it, Jacob. Yeah. I like the idea. I think it's possible. We've talked about it before. We got Steno as an OC. How would you not want your OC to teach up your O-line? Maybe he just didn't have the right teacher, and it just wasn't a good fit. If he balls out, dude, we're good, right? I mean, at some point, even if he does ball out, play a lot this year, the dude could – we can get a compensation pick if he doesn't, stay on the team next year, all that stuff. So I would be for that. It's only going to help protecting Jordan Love. So,
yeah, for sure. And again, I think Andre Dillard, it was no coincidence that they signed him as soon as Zach Tom popped the peg, right? That was, I think, kind of what that sent him into that role. I can't do this with you two. I'm just sorry. You're so out of control.
Yeah, but it was the best sign that they could make for deal potential and what they needed in the moment. I mean, you got a mystery box that potentially could have a Milwaukee tool in it, but it also could potentially have, like, I don't know,
Ryobi?
Some Ryobi. Ryobi would work. That we can make that happen. You get a heart or something out of there. You might as well return the box, right?
They're still talking about Cologne in the chat. Fam says I went from cool waters to Aqua di Gio. I smelled like an aquatic
Aqua
god.
di Gio. That's Armani, bro.
Oh, excuse the hell out of me. He said I smelled like an aquatic god.
All he did, all AFAM did was walk into Bonton and just goes, "Let me get every sample you got."
And then he took them to his car and he mixed them all together.
Yeah,
right?
he got all those little sample bottles, worked through them each week, and just never bought a cologne.
He mixed it all together in his grandpa's old school Coleman cooler, water cooler, right? And he just doused it.
I just picture who's the guy from Breaking Bad? He's just cooking up cologne. Just breaking for Affam.
Oh man! All right, let's get out of here. I tried, guys. I tried so hard.
I tried so hard.
The rookies.
If you guys would though, hit that like button for us real quick. That'll help boost the algorithm. And feel free to sub to the channel. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Camp's kicking off.
Not your favorite cologne. Thank you.
Yes, exactly. So obviously camp right around the corner, man. We're going to get into some good stuff, camp battles, all that. So we'll bring that to you on the daily basis. Let's take a quick look at the camp schedule. Obviously the first practice is going to be Monday the 22nd.
Wow.
I am fully expecting the Jordan Love contract to be done that day. I think it would be awesome that they get it done on Sunday and then bang, either late Sunday or early Monday morning, they release the picture, him signing the contract, good to go. Everybody runs out on the practice field and we're good to go. I think that would be absolutely awesome. So that practice, if you're local there in Green Bay, is going to be 10:30 a.m. Central Time. Go over there and support the team. I know if I was in town, I would be camped out for sure. So
let's go, Tim. Come on, Timmy.
Yeah, Tim.
I'm sure Tim will be there.
What's crazy is I don't even know when the Hall of Fame game is. It might be August the 25th.
It's August.
Isn't it right there? August 10th, right? Isn't it right there? Oh, no. Sorry.
No. It's early. I want to say it's like August 5th. I want to say it's like that Monday or something.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up right now. Hall of Fame game 2024 is August the 1st.
August the 1st?
Yeah.
That's early, too.
Family night?
We're going to get 1 week of training camp, and then Thursday will be the first preseason game, family night 2 days later, and then 7 days from that's our first preseason game, boys. It's here. It is upon us. So, all right. Anything else y'all got? This was fun, man. Had a good time. I needed these laughs tonight.
All right, I gotta hit the chat real quick.
Do you?
Ben says she's a 10 at 2, but a 2 at 10. Randy says the chat's killing me. Affam says I had a 20-foot smell circumference in my 20. And then of course Fred says Sex Panther 60% of the time works every time.
All right, we're out. That's it. I'm done. Emilio, you got anything other than giggling over there?
Nope.
I
appreciate everybody being here.
I agree with Jarrell. Best chat in football. Go Pack, go! It is, man. You guys are awesome. Y'all are absolutely awesome. So, Chrissy, and I can't say it. You've said it a couple of times. It makes me giggle. But. Park Zambito. Wow, Boston store mom worked there.
We're just bringing up memories and everything.
Oh God! All right. Anyway, y'all hit that like button for us. We greatly appreciate it. I don't know why you would. Yeah. If anything, out of sympathy, right? Just hit it on the way out. Like, man, these guys suck. I feel bad.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're out. We'll see you guys and gals tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Time for PTA Live. Who knows, man? Maybe the contract drops before then. Actually, on our way out, let me just play this. This was a quick soundbite gathered from Mark Murphy when he was asked about it. Nothing groundbreaking here, but here's what Mark Murphy said. Just kind of listen to the tone of his voice. Look at his demeanor. He seems really confident they're going to get this thing done. It may already be done, and they're just holding it close to the vest. But here's Mark Murphy.
Yeah, I tell you, we are very fortunate. We have probably one of the best people in the league in terms of salary cap management and negotiating contracts. In Russ Ball, he's seen and done he's been around the league forever, and I'm very confident that we'll be able to get a deal done.
So that just shows you it's the structure of the contract that's holding it up. That's it.
Yep.
It's the guaranteed money. It's the verbiage. It's maybe some of the incentives, all that stuff. So they've probably agreed to something pretty loosely, and they're just buttoning everything up. So. With that being said, we're out of here, guys. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. For those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack, go.